Friends, I'm here. I'm so sorry for the delay. So late today. It's shaping up to be one of those days. Welcome in, everybody. Peter on a 7 stream streak. Thank you so much. We shot the alpaca. Hello, hello. Tyrannosaurus. Hello. And Peter, of course. How's it going? Sorry for the delay this morning. I would love to say that I overslept my alarm and that's what's causing all of this, but I actually set the wrong alarm. I have 2 different alarms that I use depending on what I'm doing for the day, and I was supposed to set my 8 o'clock alarm this morning, and I set my 8:30 alarm. So, I didn't sleep until 8:30. I woke up at 10 after 8, but I'm still a bit disoriented, a bit behind. I don't require medical assistance. I've got coffee. We are getting caffeinated here. But yeah, it was one of those, okay, I'm gonna just speed through everything I need to do this morning in order to make up for the time, like, loss. And then, you know, you're rushing, you make mistakes. Nothing that can't be dealt with or handled, or nothing that's a big deal. But there's just been a couple things already this morning where I'm like, this is gonna be what my day is. So yeah, fun times, but I'm doing okay. We've got a lot of ducks filing into this pool here. I think we're up to 80 ducks, hanging out, chillaxing in our pool. And today we're going to work on the prompt novel. So I know it's been very intermittent that we've been working on this. I think the last time we worked on it was... let's see. The 4th of June. Wow. And it's the 26th of June now. Wow. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but evidently it has. So we did chapter 9 was, I believe the prompt was that a... Oh, right, it was do a first date, show a first date between two characters using only dialogue. So that was interesting. Are the ducks that are all black burnt, like from the fiery duck? No, those are just, they're just black in color. So this duck is just a black duck. And this duck is the 8-ball duck. The ducks that catch on fire from the fire duck don't actually get damaged. So like the wooden duck, he doesn't actually get damaged. He just stays on fire. So they're not mean. They're not mean to the ducks. They don't get damaged. We do get coffee though. The fire duck does provide coffee. So that's nice. But yeah, so a couple of the ducks do catch on fire. Oh, Silkfoot's imitating a duck, but he can't do the antlers. Oh no, look at this! The coin is already gone! Ghost pepper! The coin is already gone. That duck got to have their coin for all of like 3 minutes. Look at it. Look at this guilty boy over here. So yeah, no need to worry about the dark colored ducks. They're normally that color. That's their natural coloration. Always stabbing, sneaking, stealing. Yeah, well, Vinyl's the always sneaking, stabbing duck. Ghost Pepper's the always sneaking, stealing duck. Gosh darn. What a sneaky boy. Just making sure I'd be able to tell which one is the cow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the cow hasn't spawned yet. Because we did not have an alien in the pool at the end of stream yesterday. So, I mean, on the one hand, that means your duck is safe from the aliens. On the other hand, it means that we don't get to enjoy the cow duck yet, because they haven't spawned. But every time that duck meter fills up, we might get a cow. So no crazy liquor and cheeseburger parties. Sadly, no. Not this week. Also, the other thing is, and I think I've mentioned this a few times, that my in-laws are coming to visit next week. So Ghost Pepper's mom, dad, and brother are coming from Ontario to hang out with us next week. So in addition to my usual work that I am trying to keep up with, I have a bunch of extra housework that I'm trying to get out of the way so that everything will be clean and fresh and Ontario, oh yeah. So that everything will just be organized and ready for them to be here. So for example, today I'm washing bed sheets. So, and I have to wash more. Ooh, we got Holy Hand Grenade. We have to wash more bed sheets tomorrow. So there's a little bit of extra. If I seem a bit extra disorganized and all over the place this week, that's why. I'm just trying to fit a lot of stuff in before people come and hang out. So that's occurring. That's why I won't be around next week, is because we're going to have company here at the house. And I just want to make sure that everything is like cleaned up and organized so that, you know, I'm not cleaning around my guests when they get here, and so that everything is nice for them when they get here. So it's, and there's a lot of things, like Ghost and I sort of sat down yesterday morning and we were like, okay, what are all the things that we need to do before people get here? What are all the, like, what is the organization structure for getting these tasks finished? And of course, Ghost Pepper is working on the cherries from the cherry tree. He's stopping by the liquor store later today to grab some liquor to make cherry liquor and cherry brandy. So that's happening as well. Like, there's just a lot. There's that first week of summer stuff that's happening. So there's just a lot on my brain. Plus, for anyone who was around last night, I ran the Winds of Chaos session. I DM'd that. Pi is here. I DM'd the Winds of Chaos session last night, so I'm also planning for that and trying to make sure that I'm far enough ahead that, like, whatever they decide to do is there and ready for them to do. A crazy cherry and liquor party, yes, but not now, in 6 months, because I think they need to sit, I think the cherries need to sit in the liquor for 6 months. I'm pouring points. I don't know if I believe that, Pi. I don't know if I believe that, but how are you, Pi? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the stretchy stretch. We'll hydrate in a second here. When Pi says he's pouring points, I assume that means he can only throw like 100 hydrates at me. At Christmas, all the cherry liquor will be ours. Pretty much. Back home from basketball, Pi, were you watching or playing? I can only redeem 1,200 hydrations. Only. A piddly amount. A mere lake instead of an ocean. Playing with my brothers. Oh, that's awesome, Pi. How many brothers do you have? I have 2. Pi, oh my goodness. Also, look, your duck is here. Speaking of pie, cake. It's cake / pie. Do you get to eat those cherries? I feel like liquor soaked cherries would be yummy. Yes, after we take them out of the liquor, we can eat them. We usually use them in some kind of pastry, like a pie or something. We actually have frozen cherries in the freezer that were previously soaked in liquor. So Ghost's mother is planning to do something with some of those when she comes. She's planning on making a pie. And they are very yummy, but very boozy as well. The last time we tried to bake them in something, they didn't get baked quite enough, and they were very boozy, but delicious. Yes, she's planning on making one of your kin pie, a cherry pie. I have 2 brothers as well. Nice! Peter, I don't think I knew that. And Pi has 2 brothers as well. Welcome to the 2 brother club. I only like one of them. Do they know that? Does the one that you don't like know that you don't like them? I'm not I'm not really in contact with my brothers very much, which is something that I kind of regret. I kind of wish that I was better at keeping up with them. But they're both quite a bit younger than me. I was the oldest in the family. So when I got married and moved to Canada, my brothers were both still in school. So... Wait, does being the middle brother automatically make you loud? Is that a thing? Is that supposed to be a thing? I was the oldest. I was not just the oldest sibling in my family. I was the oldest of all the cousins as well. The oldest to get privileges. Does the oldest really get privileges, though? The oldest has to babysit the younger ones. 10 years older than my siblings. One sis and one bro. Nice! I'm only, I think there's about 4.5 years between me and my middle brother. And then there's only 18 months between him and my youngest brother. So not quite as big a gap, but a gap. You need to be loud to be noticed. Interesting. And you need the youngest to parents be like, he's the youngest, let him do it, so you need to be loud to be noticed. I feel you. The oldest gets all the guinea pig trauma. Wait, you also had guinea pig trauma? Oh yeah, no, wait, I know what you mean. Not a literal guinea pig. Yeah, we're the ones that they test everything on. We're the one that they make all the mistakes on. But also, there was a very real struggle between me and my mother when I was in high school because I wanted to hang out with... My brain is still waking up, Tyranno, but I got there! There was a very real struggle between me and my mother when I was in high school because, hey, Joe, how's it going? I'm surprised to see you up this early. Are you adjusting your sleep schedule for your weekend stream? Because she wanted me to babysit all the time, and I wanted to go out and do stuff with my friends, and I was working my own job to get my own money, and I was like, I'm not your free babysitter. I'll be sleeping all day tomorrow. Oh, interesting. What time are you starting the stream, Joe? Are you starting Friday morning or Saturday morning? 5 a.m. EST Friday. I will definitely be sleeping at that time. But I will tune in when I get up on Friday morning. I think you're a little bit crazy that you're going to be streaming for like 48 hours, but also I know that it's you, so you'll be fine. I couldn't do it, but I know you can do it. There's 4 years between me and my older sister. There's 4 years between me and my baby sister, who didn't make it super far in the world, but then there's 4 years between my baby sister and my younger, but that's a lot of time between kids, Peter. My purpose in life, according to my mother, was to babysit her younger kids whose father was my stepdad. Very similar experience, Tyranno. My brothers are technically my half-brothers. Never really thought of them that way. We grew up together, we were raised together, but we don't have the same dad. And my parents split when I was in 9th grade, and I just became the free, dedicated babysitter, and that is not how a teenager wants to spend their life. So, yeah. So, it wasn't the most fun. And I had to be an adult a little too soon, I think. Not to go too deep down that rabbit hole. Gonna stream as long as I can. Joe, when it's you, I have no doubt that you're gonna be able to make it 48 hours. Like, I feel like... It was fun. It was funny because, what were we talking about it yesterday on my stream? I said, we're going to wrap up soon, and Peter was like, that means like 7 more hours, right? And I was like, on Joe's stream, maybe. On Joe's stream sometimes, but not here. I relate to this so much. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the family drama, but I grew up in a small town, on the edge of Redneckville in Pennsylvania. My family was always up in each other's business. They were always judging each other for all their decisions. They were always ripping each other to shreds. And then at 18, I got married and I moved to Toronto, and I was 5 hours away, and nobody could be arsed to email me or call me or be involved with me. And it was suddenly like, I don't know, like breathing for the first time. Like for the first time in my life, nobody was judging my every action. Nobody was looking over my shoulder to gossip about me. There wasn't this constant, like, hen picking. And it changed my perspective a lot about the world and how I live. And it was very eye-opening. And I don't think my experience was unique to me or my family. I think it was a small town thing. I think when you live in a small town and everybody knows everybody and everybody is just a constant Karen getting in everybody's lives, I think a lot of people from small towns have that experience. And maybe it happens in cities too. I'm not here to say it doesn't. But having grown up in a small town around that small town mentality, there's a toxicity to it. And it's interesting because we're watching this show right now on Disney Plus called Justified, which is basically about this guy who grew up in Kentucky, in a small town in Kentucky. And he became a U.S. Marshal when he grew up, and he tried to get away, but he got sent back. He got reassigned back to the area where he grew up. And you see all these people who have made all these bad choices and who are, like, picking apart each other's lives. And it's, like, the most realistic part of that show is the small town politics and the way people in small towns treat each other and the way everybody knows everyone else. And not just knows everyone else, but knows everything about them. Every bad decision they've ever made, every person they've ever kissed, every little thing that happened throughout their life. And it's like this, it's like it clings to you. There's no way to get away from it because everybody knows. And so you have to go somewhere else. You pretty much have to move away in order to get away from that. Because it's your job to call, email, and be involved with them. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It took me so long to realize that, like, if they can't call, email, or interact with me, then I don't have to put in the energy that other people aren't putting into me. When you discover freedoms after a situation you didn't even realize you were in, the emotions are very overwhelming. Very true. Eden's Bookshelf, thank you so much for the follow. This is a weird conversation to find me on, but welcome in. How are you? How you doing? 20 years ago on this very night, at this very moment, I was in my high school formal, what we called prom before we started to call it prom because of America. Dang, Peter. I didn't go to my prom. I didn't really go to any of my high school things. Didn't grow up in a small town and had a similar experience with my bio dad side of the family, and now he and I are no contact as of 2 months. Yeah, I'm Tyranno, first of all, I'm sorry that that's your experience. Having grown up in those conditions, I would not wish them on anyone, even somebody I didn't like. So I'm sorry to hear that has happened and that you had that experience. But good for you for protecting your boundaries and protecting your sanity and taking care of yourself. Anyone who resonates even a tiny bit with anything I'm saying, just know that it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to tell your family to not be in your business. It's okay to not share with them things that you don't think are their business. And it's okay to want to live your life without feeling like people are breathing down your neck. It's 100% fine. Don't feel guilty. Good, thank you. Just listening to this strange conversation. How are you, Eden? I think I asked you that already. I'm doing good. I set the wrong alarm for this morning, so it's been a weird morning. But we're here, we've got some coffee going, and we're going to start writing in a few minutes here. In fact, I am going to set up my document so that I am ready to go, because I have picked a prompt for today's chapter in the prompt novel. For anyone who hasn't been here when I've been working on this crazy project, basically in 2024, I decided to write a novel that is based entirely on writing prompts. So I went on some websites, I used my fancy dice that I have a billion of and love, and I rolled up some random prompts. I did vet them. I didn't just take any prompt that came up. If the prompt did not seem interesting to me, I would pass over it in favor of another one. But I have a total of, I think it's 23 prompts total that I am attempting to turn into a novel. We're on chapter 10. We've done a lot of the initial conflict setup, and we're pretty much at the point where in today's chapter, my main characters reach a point of no return. They take an action that cannot be undone. They commit themselves to a problem that they will spend the rest of the novel solving. There's been a lot of lead up to this. There's been a lot of, entanglement in the problems of the novel. And so this marks the sort of turning point, because after this point, my characters will be actively working to solve all of the tangles that they've created throughout the beginning of the novel. And so all of the setup at this point is pretty much finished, and now we're sort of seeing the consequences start to form. It seems like such an interesting concept. If you would like to try it, I've already said to other people, if you would like to try something like that, I am fine with it. I don't feel like it's a concept you can own using writing prompts to write a novel. So feel free. I did post the, can I spell Discord? Yes, I can. I did post the websites that I used. In our Discord, there is a writing resources section, and they are pinned in there for anyone who's like, hey, that sounds cool. I want to try something similar. I used mostly sci-fi and romance prompts, but there are a bunch of different ones. There's fantasy ones as well. There's more generic ones. So pretty much anything that interests you. I like doing these writing prompts because they're fun. They give me a chance to do something that's not high stakes or require a lot of organization. I'm not planning this novel ahead of time. I'm just kind of picking a prompt each week and writing that part of the novel and not really making a plan. Because when I do my big novel projects, I have a plan, and I have a wiki document, and I have everything in triplicate. And so this is sort of my turn off my brain and just do whatever my creative muse wants to do. And it's fun. It's super fun. We're going to write chapter 10 today. And the prompt, I don't remember if I said, but the prompt is 2 characters' lives change forever after they meet and engage in a weekend-long love affair. So that is the prompt that I'm working on today. Last time we worked on this, a couple weeks ago, the prompt was essentially show 2 characters having their first date using only dialogue. And that was very challenging. I did allow myself to use dialogue tags because I felt like just dialogue would have been unreadable, but it forced me to leave out a lot of details that I would usually include in my narrative prose. So that was very interesting. Today, we're not just doing dialogue. It's not part of the prompt today. I'll join you in writing today, just taking a massive break from writing, so I'm trying to get back in the headspace, working on my second chapter. Nice! Glad to have you, Eden's Bookshelf. We're going to start very shortly here. I'm just yammering because I was late to stream. Usually by now we're at least into the first sprint. We're going to be doing 30-minute sprints, but anybody who... I have pretty much live in 30-minute sprint life now, but for anyone who's like, that's too long, feel free to break it down into two different sprints. Take part of it for a break if you'd like. You guys don't have to necessarily keep my schedule. It's just that for the 30 minutes that is on the screen, I will be quiet because I will be typing. I normally do 25.5, but I can do 30. Heck yeah! I've played around a lot with the timer off stream. I used to do 20 minutes on stream and 30 minutes off stream, but my brain has just kind of settled into 30 minutes as my work period. It's a nice unit of time. Carly is, I think, going... She's gone. She's gone. She is escaping. She's gonna go off into the ocean and live her best life. Farewell, Carly. We love you. We hope the best for you. Enjoy your beanie life. So yeah. That's the most Carly thing. I know the reason why I gave that duck to Carly was because, 1, it flies, and I know how Carly feels about flying. And 2, that duck can go, like, places where all the other ducks can't go. In the ski map, the beanie duck can go camping essentially, and roast marshmallows and stuff. So your duck is in here too, Joe. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen much of him, but there he is. There's Joe hanging out. Big head Joe. Heck yeah. I'm trying to decide if I should I probably should take a quick break before we start, just so that I can reheat my coffee. Because if I start the sprint now, my coffee's going to get cold in the middle, and we know how I feel about cold coffee. What's this icon you have next to your name, Joe? Oh, is that from Elden Ring? Interesting. Oh, earned from watching Elden Ring during the initial Shadow of the Erdtree expansion launch. Well, 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 aren't you fancy? Cold coffee is an atrocity. Thank you. I agree 100%. Okay, so I'm gonna get up. I might also do my steppy steps. So what I'm actually gonna do, I don't usually do this so early in the stream, but I'm gonna pop into BRB mode. I'm gonna BRB in 3 minutes with my steps done, so that we can just focus, and then as soon as the focus is over, we can chat, and we don't have to worry about my Fitbit buzzing at my wrist telling me to go do stuff. So I will be right back, and we will focus. I promise. I'm back! The Mad Lad is here! Hell yeah. Let's get the ducks going again. Sorry, that was a little bit of a longer break than I anticipated. Ghost Pepper returned home from the store, and I was helping unpack a few of the purchases. He has gotten the liquor, the vodka and brandy for making cherry liqueur. And also some stuff that we needed, like bread, because we always need bread in this house. And I got my documents saved. Mad Lad, how's it going? You're just in time for our first sprint. Got hot coffee. Caramel coffee today, too, which is one of my favorites. Alright, and we are going to do 30 minutes on the clock. 25 days! Mad Lad, thank you so much. Appreciate you hanging out in the stream that often. I don't know how I'm qualify as that exciting, but I appreciate it. Ooh, this song is a bop. Have to go AFK, but I'll be lurking. Mad Lad, appreciate the lurk. Take care. Megan is extremely entertaining. I don't know if that's true, but I appreciate you saying it, Joe. Been here more than 25 days, but I couldn't keep track completely. I mean, the rules for the streaks are entirely in Twitch's hands, but I appreciate you doing a 25 stream streak regardless. I appreciate everyone who's here regardless of the number of days that they're here. Come for the entertainment, stay for the productivity. Oh, I just appreciate that you guys find what you need here. That's all that matters to me. Doing your Honkai dailies. Nice, Joe. And if that counts as productivity for you, you can also just chill here. There's no rule that says you gotta be productive. Oh yeah, Joe, when do we get to hear our personal stories? Our personal fear stories? When is that happening? Because I'm very eager and excited to be terrified of what you wrote for me. Oh boy. I'm excited to hear what you write for his as well. Going to pick up pizza? Enjoy. Heck yeah. Flutter, thank you for the lurk. I hope you're feeling okay. I know you were coming down with it last night. Sorry, I feel like someone's yelling about something. I hope it's not coming through in the stream. Feel like Turtle Crab? No, Flutter, I'm so sorry. I mean, I kind of could tell from the way you sounded at the end of the session last night that you probably weren't going to wake up feeling like unicorns and rainbows, but that still sucks. Ghost Papa! Hey, Christ Rider, how's it going? Chris Tiberius writer. Why is Tiberius what we always fill in whenever there's a T? So, that was 1,335 words in the first sprint. Not too bad. Didn't advance the scene quite as much as I would like, but... it's hard with a prompt like this because I have to show a passage of time, or I have to show a specific event. So, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Last time Christ Rider was here, I did about 20 minutes on how it sounds like a religious version of Knight Rider and whether Jesus was Kit. Oh yeah, I remember that conversation. Jesus is 100% Kit. Why have we revived this conversation? What did I miss? There was a whole bunch of stuff. Seeking opinion, bonus books from villain's POV or villain POV scenes interspersed in the books. For me, the answer to that depends on, do you feel like you need POV scenes from the villain to tell the story? If you feel like the story is incomplete without those scenes, then you should definitely include them in the book. If you feel like they're bonus, if you feel like they are bonuses, if you feel like it's extra content, if you feel like showing something from the villain's perspective would break up the flow or not necessarily serve the main narrative, then making them bonus content is perfectly legit. It would be a good thing to put in like a newsletter or on your blog or something, or as like a bonus extra book. But it just depends on what you think the main narrative needs or doesn't need, or what serves the main narrative best. I hate to say it, but it's short for Christmas writer. Ah, okay. So you write Christmas stories? A fantasy novel that deals with Christmas more than other holidays. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Christmas-related content is a whole genre. Like, there are a lot of people who write stories that take place at various holidays, and Christmas is a big one, so... I'm here to cause chaos. Well, with the crew we've got here, chaos is inevitable, so you're in the right place. I have a Christmas scene in my novel. Nice! What I've been working on primarily for the last, 4 years takes place in a secondary world, so they don't really have Christmas, but they do essentially celebrate the winter and summer solstices, so those appear in there a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Peter, Joe, and Ghost Pepper are here right now, so, I mean, we're at, our chaos maximum. I have some scenes in my story that are written in the villain's POV that are definitely needed in the narrative, others less so, but I worry it's, cheating to not include them. I mean, here's the thing, is, I could write a ton of stuff about my characters that doesn't appear in my novels, but it would be fluff. Sometimes you have to pick and choose the perspective that the information is presented from, and if the information presented by the villain would be repeat information or not necessarily adding something new, it's not cheating to leave that out. I mean, there's tons of stuff that happens to my characters off camera because otherwise there's no way to tell a story that takes place over the course of like 50 years. Because I just can't do all 50 years on camera. And I can't necessarily do one scene from 3 different perspectives just to get everybody's thoughts in. Just lots of scenes and chapters in the North Pole and on Christmas. It's not called Christmas in my world either. I haven't decided what to call it, but it's essentially Christmas. Yeah, I don't think there is, like, a Christmas-type holiday in Aravalia, in the world that Aravalia takes place in. I feel like the changing of seasons is probably where, like, the major holidays fall, because it's, like, a universal thing in that part of the world. But I don't know that they have, like, a big... I assume at some point in the year they have, like, a time when the family gets together and has a big meal or something. But I don't know if any of, like, what we consider to be Christmas-like traditions have sort of made it into their world, because there are so many different religions in that world, and none of them really hold a lot of sway in the modern world, that it's just kind of like, all of the rich people are having a party today, so I guess everybody else should have a party too. No problem. I'm glad to help. I feel like with stuff like that, like, which perspectives should you show, and, like, which scenes should you include in the book? I feel like that's all pretty subjective. I feel like, it comes down to, like, what your assessment of the story is and what your preference is. Like, I do not have any villain POV chapters in the Aravalia Chronicles. Every time you see the villain on camera, you are in somebody else's perspective. And that was a decision that I made early on in the crafting of the book. Partially because I didn't really want to write from his perspective. He's not a great guy. He's icky enough to when I'm writing him from other people's perspective. I didn't know that I really wanted to get in his head. But also, I just feel like this is a character who's supposed to have a certain amount of mystique, and a certain amount of the story is about trying to figure out what he's doing and what he's thinking. So showing it to the reader would sort of take some of the wind out of those sails. Also, it's sort of plausible that all of the information that is presented in my books could have, like, come from somewhere. Could have been written down in, like, mission reports or journals or something. There wouldn't be any surviving writing. Like, there wouldn't be any source of writing, I guess I should say. There wouldn't be any way to get writing from the villain's POV. That's just a me thing. That's not, like, a requirement or anything. That's just, like, a in my brain kind of thing. I will attempt to have this make sense. See the world of Aravalia in your head. See if us here on Earth got in a spaceship and went far enough, could we find Aravalia? Potentially, yeah. It could be a world out there, and Earth exists in the Aravalia Chronicles universe. It is made reference to. Did you write it as existing in our universe? Somewhere does Earth not? No, it definitely exists in our universe. Earth is referenced. Is Steam free? Steam is free, yes. It is. Most of the stuff that you play on it is not. But the program itself is free. You just need an email address. It's also, it's not just a storefront, it's also a community hub, but it's mostly a storefront. It's mostly for purchasing things. And if you're wanting to get the ducks, they are on there. We've almost got a roadblock happening here again as well. The flamingo likes to hang out in this corner, I guess. No one has told him that it's dangerous for his health. If he boxes all the other ducks in. Let's see. Oh, we've got Super ATM Zero. Oh, he's transforming back into regular dad. Because morning is coming. Who else have we got hanging out over here? We've got the Twin Moons, which has already broken and escaped, so that's fun. We've got Darfin. We've got Joe hanging out over here. Exiled Faye hanging out. Ghost Pepper's around here somewhere. That sneaky sneak already stole the coin. You stole the coin within the first 3 minutes of stream, Ghost Pepper. What a jerk face. We've only got a small number of ducks down here because it's blocked off. There is you and your guilty spoils. You and your guilty spoils. And there's the poor duck that you stole it from. Look at this poor bereft piggy bank that you took from. You sneaky little bee. The 1% is the dance party. I wanted to buy my husband's game. Which game is your husband's game? 99% of its function is a storefront. Listen. Oh, that's what the other 1% is. The dance party. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying they want it to be thought of as a community hub, I think. But it's mostly a storefront. The crime and the criminal together at last. He returns to the scene of the crime. I don't see either an alien or a cow, so I don't think Tyranno's duck has spawned yet. We have the crossword duck, but I don't see the cow duck, and I don't see the alien duck. We just have this massive roadblock over here of ducks that are trying to go down there, but can't because the flamingo's in the way. Oh yeah, and there's the little boat that escaped. Just that little duck captain living his best life there. I wasn't actuallying you, I was amending my statement. Oh. I didn't think you were actuallying me, so... When you woke up today, did you think the words, "I didn't see either an alien or a cow" would escape your lips? No, but, you know, Peter, I've learned that a lot of things come out of my mouth unexpectedly. Oh, look! The roadblock is clear. That might save the flamingo for a little bit longer. Nope. Holy hand grenade is dropping the bombs. I almost, if I hadn't already named that one duck the holy hand grenade, I would have named that duck after Joe because it drops little bombs into the pool and yeets people everywhere. But I had already named it holy hand grenade before I thought to name it Joe. Oh my goodness. Alright, first I'm gonna stretch because I feel it. I feel the stretch happening. And then I'm going to take a... Oof. Oh, gosh, I'm going to make the camera go over. I'm going to take a quick break. I will pause the ducks while I am AFK. Just going to get up and move around for another quick 3 minutes here. And then we are going to do another 30 minutes of productivity. I don't know. I'm hoping... I was originally planning on doing this in 2 scenes. I'm wondering if I can do it in 1. I'm wondering if I need a second scene. I will ponder that. Pardon me while I just stare off into space and get lost in thought for a minute. I will ponder that while I'm AFK. I was originally planning on doing a lead-up scene and then an after scene. But I wonder if I should just leap in and just do it all in one scene. When am I becoming a French king? I guess when I walk away from my keyboard. Is that how that works? I have to be coronated. I have to have a coronation. You don't just get to be the French king. It's not like in England where you're the new king as soon as the old king died. You have to actually have a coronation. You have to be declared king in France. That is one thing I know about history. One major difference between France and England that I'm aware of. So I'll get Ghost Pepper to come up from downstairs and crown me king of France while I'm taking my break. Will make anyone royalty here? Well, you know, they had to be designated by God at some point in the past. I better not go too deep down this rabbit hole because Ghost is going to come in pushing up his glasses and be like, actually, here's a breakdown of how the English monarchy works. Another major difference between the English and the French monarchies is that the English one still exists. True. Fair. Wait, but does that mean that France is in the market for a king? Like, I can't be the king of England because they have one, but France is open? Good luck keeping your head canon when you can't keep your head. Lol. Alright, I'm going to pause the ducks. I'm going to take a quick break. We will be back in a few minutes with more of these antics and also some productivity. Stoen SC, sorry I missed your follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Let's save the ducks before we resume the ducks. Heck yeah. Imagine like 600 years ago, God being like, and then some weird old guy with massive ears and weird sausage fingers who wished he could be a lady's product. He's next in line. I mean, listen. People had odd ideas about the world 600 years ago, and 600 years before that, and 600 years before that. People have always had odd ideas about the world. Oh no, our sweet little frog boy got pushed out of the pool. Look at this. He's in the grass. Poor frog boy. Oh, it looks like the floaty got popped. I missed it happen, but the floaty got popped apparently. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I was thinking what I was gonna do was gonna be write a lead-up scene and then write an after scene. And just kind of gloss over the part, since the prompt is, you know, two characters meet and engage in a weekend-long love affair. I was gonna skip over the middle part, but maybe we'll just radically get in there. If something irrational is gonna happen, we might as well just go whole hog and just dive right in. There's the holy hand grenade. That's the duck that I was... Oh, he shot out a hand grenade as he was falling down the slide. This is the duck that I was going to name after Joe, but I had already named it holy hand grenade before. There's the grenade right there. Wait for it. Let's see if it gets near any ducks before it goes off. I don't know how long it takes. There it goes. That's how the ducks keep getting yeeted out of the pool. So I have to say, because somebody posted another portrait in the Discord yesterday. Does anyone know what the weird trend of portrait painting is right now? That it's like a really like hazy background and then just like a face floating in the middle of nowhere. Does anyone know like why that's an art trend right now? Do we have any art history majors in the chat right now who can clarify for me? Why though? Why is that? Why? 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 Because it's like, doesn't the king choose the artist that makes his portrait? Why did he choose a artist that was going to put him in hell for his portrait? I just don't understand. And why the other one is like under the sea, I guess. I could be wrong, but I think the meme is that the same portrait artist who did Charles III just unveiled one for David Attenborough. Yeah, but did you look at the portraits? He's underwater. He's very clearly underwater. I just don't, first of all, I guess I don't really understand art in general. But I don't understand why you would obscure, because he very clearly painted his clothing. Why is it so obscure? Why is he a floating head and hands? And then it's the same for the new one. He's sitting on a chair, but it looks like it's sunken under the sea. I just don't understand. I don't understand. Period. Maybe I just need to accept that it's not for me to understand. But this is my problem with a lot of like artsy stuff, is I'm like, I don't know if I understand why that is the way that it is. And this person is clearly a good painter. This is the same thing. I like to see details, right? I want to see I want to see the details of something, and I feel like the details of the portrait are purposefully obscured, and it drives me nuts. It's like Ghost Pepper's gonna be like muting me in a second because he's heard this so many times, but it's like when I watched the new season of Criminal Minds, when they did Criminal Minds Evolution, and I watched the first season of it, everything's gray. There's like no lighting. You can barely see what's happening in the show. And it's like, even when it's outside, like, why can't you see anything? Why is it gray? What, the sun is shining. Why is there a gray filter and everything? I want to see the details. I want to see what's happening. Why? What is this trend lately that it's like, I'm going to show you something, but you only get to see a third of it. The rest of it is going to be obscured by something. But what if I want to see all of it? What if I want to see the whole thing? Wow, some of those ducks came absolutely flying out of that chute. All right. I'm going to go back to the productivity because there is no answer to my query. But really, think about it. Think about it. Welcome back, the Mad Lad. You just missed me ranting. Cheers, the Mad Lad. Ooh, it looks like it's gonna rain. It is gray, the leaves are going. Doesn't mean it will rain in our neck of the woods, but it looks pretty close. Back with crispy gluten-free pizza. Nice! What is on the pizza? Eden's bookshelf. What is your topping? What is your pizza topping? I named this guy Del Mar, and I just said he always smells faintly of the ocean. Yep. That happened. Pepperoni! A classic. Nice. Oh no! What happened to it, Ghost Pepper? Was it soggy, or was it, like, rock hard? Was it moist? A family member of mine owns a shilling from the reign of Charles I. That's amazing! Our new principal is celiac, so pizza day was a source of dread for her. Well, I'm glad that they're working on perfecting... I'm sure they'll keep working on it. It sounds like they're gonna keep at it until they nail it for her. Chaos Octopus Cam coming right up for you, Joe. Chaos Octopus Cam was created by J Chili. This is a J Chili original crafted on his stream. This is his interpretation of me in my octopus hat. I'm not an Oxford comma supporter, but there we go. Crap, I forgot what I was saying in this sentence. Imagine not being an Oxford comma supporter. Just don't think that they're necessary. If a comma is necessary, I support it. If a comma is not necessary, I don't support it. And I think Oxford commas tend to be superfluous. This must be what the kids call cringe. Thanks, Dad. Just imagine Ghost Pepper downstairs right now being like, "Hello, fellow youths. This is what we call cringe, am I right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge." I forgot what I was saying. Why is the one word that works in this sentence not in my head anymore? Did I imagine a word that would work here? Yeah, see, I've seen this before. But I would argue that the comma is necessary there. Oxford commas tend to be unnecessary. Like, Whenever people use examples of the Oxford comma, they tend to cherry pick. Why can't I think of this word? Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind. It's a good thing that you guys are looking at an octopus right now, because I'm over here doing the crazy whiteboard thing, trying to think of a word that apparently doesn't exist. I need a reverse lookup dictionary. It's a musical term. I'm gonna spend the entire sprint looking for this word, you guys. I can't functionally handle what is happening with my brain right now. The word is not but. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Joe, I'm not gonna do like 6 hydrates right now. Sorry, or like 8 hydrates at this moment. But thank you. Oh God, Ghost and I were talking about that exact thing the other day, Tyrano. Okay. I managed to get some semblance of words to happen in that in that sprint. I did not get that one sentence to be what I wanted it to be. I just had to work around it. I just had to make it something else. I just had to let it not be my ideal version of that sentence and instead be simply a sentence. That functioned in the way that I needed it to function. How many fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hydrates from Joe and a 9th one from Pi. I'm gonna reheat my coffee before I do that. I'm not gonna chug like a bunch of hot coffee, but I'm gonna take a quick break and come back and we'll do the sippage. But yeah, that was, I think I only wrote about 1,000 words in that sprint because I got stuck for a solid, you guys couldn't see it because the Chaos Octopus cam was happening. But that was a good, like, 6 or 7 minutes that I spent just trying to friggin' think of a word that I never thought of. Yeah, I only wrote 979 words that sprint. That's bad for me. That was quite a bit less than usual. Because I wrote part of a sentence, and then I stopped writing the sentence to turn on the chaos cam, and I got back to the sentence and I was like, oh shit. What did I forget? And I could not think of the term. I could not think of the term. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about the Oxford comma, to be honest. I don't know how much I want to talk about that. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. I still can't think of the word. I may have been imagining that there was a word in my brain that didn't actually exist. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking when I stopped writing the first half of that sentence of how I originally intended that sentence to end. But the way that sentence ended up being written is not the way I originally intended it to be written, and it's driving me nuts. It's a fine sentence. I read it like 6 times, and it works fine. But it wasn't what I originally wanted it to be. So, yeah. That happens. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you blaze through like 8 paragraphs in like 3 minutes, and sometimes you spend 20 minutes trying to think of one fucking word. Normally, when I'm doing my drafting, if I get in a situation like that, I try to just write down whatever and then fix it in edits. But these are going on my blog, so they don't get edits. They just kind of get posted raw. So I was trying to do justice to whatever was in my brain at the time, and I don't think I did. But I wrote something. It got written. So there's that. What did I miss? There was so much conversation. Also, I like how Ghost Pepper is like, imagine not being an Oxford comma supporter. I don't think Ghost Pepper uses Oxford commas either. I'm an Octopi supporter. Me too. Most of the rules of English were invented to make the language more complicated. I don't even necessarily think that's true. I think part of the problem is that English is borrowed from several different languages, and each part of the language follows the rules of the language it was taken from. So English doesn't have consistent rules because it has rules from a bunch of different languages that only apply to the parts of the language that were savaged. And so it's impossible to consistently apply rules across all of the English language. Like the how many days in a month rhyme that immediately falls apart. Ghost Pepper literally talked about that with me the other day in the car. My son has a book that tries to claim floor and paw rhyme. I can't imagine saying those two words in a way that rhyme. A different book that rhymes claws and doors. We always read them with an emphasized Brooklyn accent, so there's some semblance of rhyme. That's a good way to solve that problem. Yeah, there's no comma there. You don't need that extra comma in there, the Mad Lad. You just don't. Apples, oranges, and pears. There's no confusion without that comma in there. The and does the work. You don't need the comma. I just don't want to get into a massive fight about the Oxford comma. But I also, like, that's an example of an Oxford comma. You don't need it. It doesn't need to be there. It was viewed as too simple in the 1700s and therefore inferior to French, which took skill to speak properly, so a bunch of fopps got together and made up the new rules. Yeah, but English doesn't even follow its own rules, so who cares? Who cares what rules they made up? I mean, y'all can put that extra comma in there if you want, but it doesn't need to be there. If there's a list of things and there's no confusion, you don't need the comma. Like, you just don't. It's superfluous. The and does the job. Neither is incorrect. Both are correct. Like, it's just a personal preference. But it's no more or less clear. The list of things, apples, oranges, and pears. You're not confusing oranges and pears for being types of apples. Like, I also think a big part of the problem is that we've taken, so I don't want to get too deep down this rabbit hole. This is why I didn't want to have this conversation. I think a big part of the problem with comma usage in modern vernacular is the way we use commas in article titles. If you look at article titles, in order to fit as many words in as small a space as possible, because when you look at an SEO search or when you scan through something on a newspaper, there's a limited amount of space to fit the words in, right? So in order to fit as many words in as possible, it has become commonplace for you to use commas in place of certain words in article titles. And so words that, like when you're writing a sentence in prose, when you would expand that sentence and just use an and or something, you use a comma to do that in an article. And I think that practice has sort of seeped into the public consciousness, and people try to use those commas in prose, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't do anything that you do in a journalistic article, in a title, or in journalism, you should not do in prose. The way that we write journalism, the way that we write informative, It's the same as you shouldn't write a novel in the same way you write an academic paper. What you would do in an academic paper, the way you would articulate an academic paper, is not the same as you should write a novel. They're different styles of writing, and they should be different styles of writing because you're expressing different things to different people, to different audiences. And so I think what's happened is there's this tendency of we're trying to fit as many words into as small a space as possible in modern journalism, and they use commas as a shorthand in a way that creates confusion because look at the number of article titles that don't make any sense in a given day. But people try to use that same practice in prose, and you shouldn't. And I think that's where the problem comes from, the argument over where do you need a comma. If you're expressing yourself clearly and fluidly in prose, it's really kind of easy to tell where a comma should go, because when you read the sentence without the comma, you'll trip, and when you read the sentence with the comma, you won't. But because of this tendency to cram extra commas into a sentence to make more space for SEO, then that happens. That's not the answer you want, but I need to know other stuff before I can give you a yes or a no. So anyway, that's my thoughts on commas in general, is I think that the waters get muddied because people do things to shorthand, and then people try to take that shorthand and put it into other types of formally written work, and it doesn't work there. So my advice in general is don't try to write a book the same way you would write a journal article or a blog post. It just isn't the same type of writing, and it just doesn't work. I desperately need to use the restroom, so I'm gonna pop AFK. I have to look at something and see if I want to add more to this piece. So I might do so. But I need to use the restroom and then hydrate myself 9 times for the people who redeemed that. Hopefully I haven't chased you guys all the way with my frank and honest opinions about the English language and commas and shit. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're consistent internally with your own work. If you are consistent, if you use commas consistently throughout your work, you're fine. If you are changing the way you use commas within the same work, that's bad. So try to make sure that your grammar is consistent, that you're applying the rules as you interpret them consistently, and that's what matters. If you use the Oxford comma, use it consistently. If you don't use the Oxford comma, don't use it consistently, and you'll be fine. It's when you switch up that people notice. That's the main key there. So, as long as, if you like it and you use it, as long as you're always using it, it's fine. When I edit for authors who prefer the Oxford comma, I edit to the Oxford comma. I make sure that they're using it consistently. It's all down to consistency. I shall be right back. All right, I'm back. Whoops, the timer started on its own. Let's save the ducks. We're getting close to a full pool here. I still never saw the cow duck, though. Although if it spawned when I was deep in the weeds looking for that word, I would have seen it. We like your rants, and it's interesting to hear alternative opinions. I appreciate that. I try to keep in perspective that art and writing in general are subjective things. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier with the paintings. I don't understand why someone who paints it to such a level of detail would obscure the details of their painting in a way that makes it harder for me to see, because I want to see the details of their painting. But I feel like there must be some rationale behind that style. Like, the artist must have some reason why they've made that choice. And I'm interested in knowing that so that I can appreciate the art more. And so for me, whenever I look at, you know, a stylistic choice in writing, it's the same thing. I try to understand, why has the author made this stylistic choice? And do I feel like it enhances the work, or do I feel like it detracts from the work in the way that they've executed it? And for me, I do that auto-magically because I can't turn off the part of my brain that does that. But it's always interesting, because sometimes understanding the reason why someone has made a stylistic choice makes that stylistic choice have more impact. Whereas I think if you can't necessarily understand why they've done it that way, it might just confuse you. All right, I've got 9 hydrates to do, so let's do 3. Fresh hot coffee. 1, 2, 3. Now I need to check something. Ooh! Camera. I need to check something. I think I want to add... I don't want to do a full scene, I don't think. I think I want to add just a little something to the end of this. Yeah, I think I'm going to add a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to do a full sprint because I don't want to write of something very long. I don't do this very often. Usually when I write a scene, I try to really dig in, and like, my scenes tend to be 2,000 to 3,000 words minimum. I want to do something that's just a few paragraphs. I want to do something that's just like a little interlude sort of at the end. Why can I not find what I'm looking for? There. So I might just go ahead and write it, because I don't think I need a full sprint for it, and we are getting on towards lunchtime. Oh yeah, wait. I have more hydrates to do. 4, 5, 6, 3 more to go. Oh, did the cow spawn? Heck yeah, Tyranno, your duck is here. No! What? No, they took your duck right away! We had that duck for like a minute and a half! Sir! 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 That is the rudest set of aliens. Let's do the last 3 hydrates. 7, 8, and 9. 9 hydrates from Joe and Pi, the Chaos Twins. Oops. Squanchy! I don't see a message from you, Squanchy. No. Are you trolling me? I think I'm being trolled right now. And it's not really a good day for this kind of thing. Squanchy, I'm really not in a mood for this. So please stop. I have way too much going on today to be trolled. I mean, under other circumstances, it might be fine, but I've had like 6 DMs sent to me during the stream today. It's just bad timing. It is unfortunately a very, very hectic day today. It's nothing bad. It's just we have company coming next week. I have a lot to do, and it's just over the course of the morning there's been a lot of things that have popped up that people have been like, "Hey, I need you to check your DMs and give me a quick message about something." And like just have so much already in my head going on from the time I woke up this morning that the extra is just starting to weigh. So the idea of having one other thing that needs my attention right now is just overwhelming. Unfortunately, if you had done that joke on any other day, I probably would have laughed my ass off. But I just genuinely have so much going on at this moment in time that I just feel like I'm running back and forth with the bucket trying to catch everything. I hope you're doing well, though, Squanchy. I hope it's good. I hope it's a good day. Listen, you had absolutely no way of knowing that if you just got here. So, 100% is fine. I just had a moment of panic where I was like, oh no, what is happening? Is my thing eating messages? What am I gonna do? All right, so I've just written kind of like a little addendum, just a little vignette on the end here, just another 457 words, so under 500 words, to just sort of wrap things up, which brings the total for today to 2,774 words. I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is one of my tougher responses. I definitely didn't have much of a plan when I came into this, and I definitely sort of fought my way through it. But I do think I'm happy with how it turned out. In terms of fulfilling the prompts, I think the tone is good. I think the tone suits things well. I feel like there's been, in this prompt novel, a lot of things happening in the background that have sort of been building up that are obscured. And I think they're all about to sort of explode onto the page over the next couple chapters, which is good. I mean, that's generally what you want to have happen in a novel. You want things to sort of swirl around until they reach a point where they all have to be dealt with. Because that's what life is like. We're going to do a stretch, and then we're going to see who is around. I know Ghost Pepper is streaming again, but we did raid him yesterday, so we're gonna raid someone else today. I'm gonna go have a breather and eat some lunch, because apparently I might be a little stressed. And I will be back tomorrow, hopefully a little bit earlier. I know I was late today, but hopefully I'll be a little earlier tomorrow, and we will be doing edits again. I have... I'm going to say one more day of edits to do, but I have so much more edits to do on the Aravalia Chronicles. So we're going to be doing edits again tomorrow. And then I will be off for a week because we are going to have company over. We are going to be hosting Ghost Pepper's family. Squanchy, you take care as well. Again, I'm so sorry that you caught me on a day where I'm just running in a million directions. But I'm so happy to see you. I hope you're doing well. Who is around? Who is around and not going to wrap up in like 5 minutes?
And, you know, so that bottom panel.
I'm tempted to see somebody that I haven't seen around in a while. Tempted to raid them. I know a lot of the other people who are on right now tend to wrap up at around this time. So I want to send you guys somewhere that'll be around for a while. Let's head over. I haven't seen this person on in a while. I think we've rated him once before. Richard Boxhall. It looks like he's doing some writing. Ghost is around. We did raid him yesterday, so I don't feel like I should raid my husband every day, especially since he's not doing writing. So we'll raid someone who we haven't seen in a while. Thanks again, everyone, for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Sorry I got a bit stressed there at the end. There's just so much going on with getting ready for company. Anyone who's ever hosted before probably knows, like, you suddenly realize, oh, I didn't do this, and I have to do that, and all the sheets need to be cleaned, and all of this needs to be reorganized, and there's a bunch of boxes that need to get collapsed and taken out to the curb. So that's basically the mode that I'm in right now. And of course, it's the first week of summer, so we have a lot of people who are like, hey, do you want to also do this? And do you want to also do that? And it's like, I would love to, but there's only 24 hours in a day. So there's just a little bit of being pulled in every direction. But we got our scene done, and I'm happy with it. And I hope that you guys enjoyed your hangout here. I hope that it wasn't too stressed and didn't chase you guys all away. I will be back tomorrow morning for one more round of edits before I have to take a break. I'll try to be chill, but who knows? This is actually what my life is actually like. I'm not actually as chill as I seem. But we'll get through it, and that's the important thing. I hope you guys all take care of yourselves, whether or not I see you tomorrow. And until I do see you again, be well.
Computers next to the computer.